Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you are doing well today. So if you are new here on this channel, what I do is I cover Liverpool news, I analyse it and I give my opinion on it. And also thanks to FSG now, I am now a fully qualified sports data analyst. Yeah, I can't keep a straight face. Anyway, in this video I wanted to cover a couple of points off in regards to Jurgen Klopp's press conference today. It came out of a quote in regards to Liverpool still being attractive to other players, and I thought I'd just give like an update on where I think the names that Liverpool have been linked with a lot lately currently stand, in my opinion. Like, you know, I could be wrong, it's just my opinion and stuff, but it's just kind of where I think everything's at the moment. But yeah, so just a quick reminder, if you are new here and you do like the video, subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with everything else I've got going on. Give the video a like, and I also welcome all your comments down below, guys, on everything I'm about to cover. You know, I did a video a while back now on someone's comment because it was well written out and it deserved a video all onto itself. So just, yeah, guys, if you've got anything you want to say, just put it down in the comments. So basically, Klopp's comments today, and this will tie into a article that Paul Joyce has written today as well. It goes on to in regards to, he was asked, with Liverpool not being guaranteed Champions League football next season, is that a worry in being able to attract players to Liverpool? Because in the past, Klopps alluded to the fact that if they're not ready to come when we're not in the Champions League, then that's not the type of player that Liverpool should be going for in the first place, right? And basically Klopps turned around and said that we're still Liverpool, we're still really attractive for a lot of players, and we should not forget that. He also kind of said something along the lines of, you know, people that we're interested in know that the current situation, that we're not guaranteed Champions League football next year. So it's not kind of one of them where they can turn around and go, yeah, it's all good, you know, I'm willing to come to Liverpool, but, you know, we'll just kind of wait for Champions League football. Like, because Liverpool at that point would then just walk away from that deal. So you would think that the players that were currently being linked with a lot, like your McAllisters, your Ugartes, Gravenberch, Mason Mount, who else is there? Like probably Mateus Nunes back in the day, like, you know, they're all fully aware of the situation and fully aware that Liverpool might not be in the Champions League next year, and are still willing to come to the club. So you've got to think that he might have kind of dropped himself in there saying that, because we're not really supposed to be speaking to clubs, are we? You know, when about their permission and stuff like that. But anyway, the whole point of this as well is because in this article, Joyce has basically said that Klopp would like to start escalating these deals when the season ends on May the 28th, because Klopp wants his squad pretty much finished off with his deals and everything by July the 8th, which is only pretty much 6 weeks after the season's over. So you've got to think behind the scenes right now, Liverpool are hashing out deals, speaking to agents, sorting out this, that and the other. And that's why we're seeing all these links of all these players and prices flying around and stuff like that. And there's probably a lot going on behind the scenes with players that have not been mentioned in the media as well. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. You know, it was only a few years ago, wasn't it, when Fabinho came out of nowhere? There was no links to him, no, and then boom, we'd signed him. So maybe we'd get something like that this year as well, guys. But it's very interesting as well to say that McAllister and all this still want to come to Liverpool, innit? It shows that we can still sell the club to these types of players. However, you know, he did also mention that as long as this is a one-off, it shouldn't be a problem. If this becomes a regular occurrence where Liverpool do not qualify for the Champions League, then it'll become harder and harder and harder to attract these type of players. So this season we should be fine, but, you know, we obviously have to have a better season next year. And then just one last thing as well that he kind of covered as well was because of, there was asked a question on like Liverpool's form and everything now, and basically he answered that with, because of how bad Liverpool were, so, you know, this season, they had a gap where they didn't play for about 9 days or something. So they thought that they'd get ahead of the pre-season and start making changes to the squad that they were going to make anyway, like the formation, Trent's new position, yada yada yada, you know, and just see how it went. And obviously that seems to have been a lease of new life to the team, and Klopp says he enjoyed it. You know, like they've changed certain things that they're currently training on now, and as in coaching on at the Access training facility. And Klopp's enjoying it. The fundamentals are still there, like counter pressing, winning the ball back, but they've changed certain other things, and everyone feels a lot more comfortable doing it. He did also kind of allude to the fact that they knew they had to change this last year, but he's kind of said coming so close to winning 4 trophies, they didn't. That kind of made them feel like, can we risk it another year? And obviously that's just all backfired on them with the way it's happened this year. But if this is how we're going to play going forward, with 3 at the back, 2 holders, 2 8/10s, and the 3 forwards, then we're going to have to get the players in that fit these roles. I've seen a lot of people talking about getting a new right back in the summer, but if this is how we're going to play, like, we don't technically play with a right back now. Like, a lot of people are saying that Trent's kind of inverted, which I suppose he is, but when we don't have the ball, Trent does come out to the right back position to help cover. But when we do have it, he's not a right back, and he's kind of not even inverted. I would say he is a 6 next to Fabinho. There's 2 6s there, and he's just passing the ball around, a bit like a Kevin De Bruyne or a Thiago back in the days, So, yeah, that's basically everything from the press conference I wanted to cover off, guys. And then I feel like just to finish off this video, I'm probably going to start doing this on every Friday, maybe, just to give my thoughts and opinions, like an updated thing on where I stand on the main players that we've been linked with. So, McAllister right now, I think that he's probably the number 1 target we're going for due to everything that's coming out. I'd probably say that Liverpool are probably waiting till the end of the season, because you've got to think as well, guys, just going back a little minute, about the 28th at the end of the season to get the finish processed. We're talking with clubs, and this includes Jude Bellingham, for instance, like when we were after him. We're talking to clubs that are kind of in the middle of going for stuff that they've not had for a long time. So you've got Brighton that are kind of, they could still finish in the top 4 if all goes well for them. We were talking to Bellingham apparently, but Dortmund were going for the Bundesliga for the first time in years. So these players and clubs are not going to want to be distracted by things going on in the background. So I can understand that as well at the same time. So Alexis McAllister, I think that Liverpool are after him. He's like probably the top target now. I think everything's going in the right direction. There's been reports that his dad's been on Merseyside a few times now, and we've had discussions with his agents and stuff like that. Brighton are a little bit of a hardball to get negotiated with. Like, they will get top dollar for their players. We've seen it with Ben White. We've seen it with Cucurella, who went to Chelsea. Clubs have potentially overpaid for players. They were only rejecting 80 million for Caicedo in January. So the rumoured price that came out today, like, of 70 million for McAllister, I personally think that's on the high side. Like, I'd be looking at 55 to 60 million for McAllister, and I don't know. Would you walk away at 70 million, guys? Let me know down below. Like, would you move on to another target? Because you've got to think the way FSG and Liverpool do their business, that depending on how much money the first target cost getting in, that's going to have a negative effect on everybody else we go for, because we've only got so much money to play with. So if we go and spend, say, 70 million on McAllister, does that then stop us going for Ugarte, for instance? Because we haven't got the money to go for that. So then we go for like the next choice down on that. It's one of them we've got to weigh up, and I think that's what Liverpool are currently doing now. McAllister, I probably guess that stuff is agreed with the player on his side. I would probably say, teams don't go and put bids in for players that they've not already agreed personal terms. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just wasting your time. So that's that for McAllister. Ugarte, we've seen a lot of things with him over the past couple of days linked with other clubs in the Premier League around, like Aston Villa and Everton and stuff. I'd probably think that is either one of two things. That's either bollocks, like it's not true and it's just a reporter trying to make a name for themselves, or it's his agent playing up, trying to get Liverpool to proceed with the deal a little bit quicker, like saying, well, if you want him so quick, if you want him, you better hurry up because other clubs will come and take him, he'll go there. But I've seen a few things to say that the player wants to come to Liverpool. Liverpool do have a good, what's the word I'm looking for, working relationship with his main agent. I'd like to say that his main agent, like Jorge Mendes. He is represented by an agency that does a lot with Liverpool players. We've got, I think it's like Fabinho, Darwin Núñez, Jota, I think, off the top of my head. And we've been linked with other players that this agency has got over the years. So we've got a good working relationship with them. So I don't know if the agent's playing hardball in that way. I honestly think it's just them trying to get Liverpool to hurry up with this deal and get it over the line. But at the same time, Liverpool have got to just evaluate it all out with the money and everything like that, basically, I think. Gravenberch, I reckon that one is pretty much done again on the player's side. You know, his agent was at Liverpool during the January transfer window. We spoke about this several times now, where Liverpool were trying to get him on loan, but nothing materialised there. You know, people are saying that he's had meetings with Liverpool for a while, with his family. It's all kind of agreed. He wants the move to Liverpool. But then you've got to think about Bayern, who apparently do not want to sell him. Thomas Tuchel apparently sees him as a big part of his team going forward. And have you noticed, guys, as well, just something to watch and keep an eye on, that Gravenberch, before the rumours came out about Liverpool, was hardly playing for Bayern. Like, he was getting substitute appearances, this, that and the other. But he's playing a lot now in the starting 11 ever since these came out. So could that have a decisive effect on him, whether he wants to come to Liverpool, or is he going to give it a shot and go to stay at Bayern, do you know what I mean, next year, and see what happens there? And then the last one, I think the big one to probably touch on, is Mason Mount. Now, Paul Joyce in his article, and you've seen it, I think there was another one as well, like Chris Bascombe or something like that, are all saying that Mason Mount is one of Liverpool's top transfer targets. Now, I don't believe that's the case. I think he's under, you know, Liverpool are obviously interested in him, but I think his wages, if you got to believe him, at like $250,000 a week, I think that'd be a problem at Liverpool, because that's more than what Thiago's on. I think it's probably just underneath what Salah's on. It's probably more than Van Dijk and Alisson. So are Liverpool really going to pay him that? And at the same time as well, like, he can be as high as possible on Liverpool's transfer list and wish list and Jurgen Klopp's wish list. Like, I really want this player. But at the end of the day, guys, if Chelsea give him what he wants, he will stay at Chelsea. Like, he will stay at Chelsea 100%. So, yeah, it's all up in the air with that at the moment. We've got Pochettino coming in, so who knows? He might decide to stay at Chelsea another year. But as I said, we can want him as much as he wants. But if Chelsea give him what he wants, he stays there. That's what I think right now. Right then, guys, that's everything for this video. The next video I do might be on the embargoed section of the press conference that came out today, which will be released Sunday, I think, if I'm not wrong. But it all depends on, like, what if it's worthwhile or anything like that. Other than that, I'll be doing paper talk on Sunday, which I've been doing for the past 2 Sundays now, and then I might do a match reaction video after the game on Monday. Right, guys, hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you later.